most people completely misunderstand this process, and because of that, they assume that forming a company in Panama is either something shady, overly complicated, or only meant for multinational corporations and wealthy investors. But if you are thinking about registering an LLC in Panama, there is something extremely important you need to understand first. Because Panama does not actually use the term LLC in its legal system. Instead, the equivalent structure is called a Sociedad de Responsabilidad Limitada, often shortened to SSRL, or in many international discussions, simply referred to as a Panama Company or Panama Corporation, depending on the structure used. And if you don't understand that before you begin, you can easily confuse legal structures, misunderstand requirements, or choose the wrong setup for your business goals. Now let's begin with a story. A young entrepreneur named Michael from Texas had been running an online consulting business. His clients were spread across North America and Europe, and he was starting to think about international expansion and tax-efficient structures for his growing income. One night, while researching offshore-friendly jurisdictions, he kept seeing the same country mentioned again and again. Panama. D. Strong financial privacy framework. Territorial tax system. Data no Rio. And EU territorial tax. Data and days. International banking history. And long-standing reputation as a global business hub. It sounded like exactly the kind of structure he was looking for. So Michael made a decision. He would explore registering a company in Panama. But what he didn't realize is that Panama operates under a civil law system with very specific corporate structures, legal requirements, and compliance expectations that are quite different from what he was used to in the United States. And that is where most people begin to misunderstand the process. Because forming a company in Panama is not just about opening a business. It is about creating a legal entity inside a regulated international financial system that has strict rules, even if it appears flexible on the surface. But here's where things get interesting. Michael assumed this would be a simple offshore shortcut. He thought he could register a company quickly, open a bank account easily, and immediately start routing international income through a Panama structure. But when he started researching deeper, he discovered something important. In Panama, company formation typically requires a registered agent, legal documentation prepared by a licensed attorney, notarization, and registration with the public registry. And that structure changes everything. Now let's introduce another character. Sarah, a freelance marketing consultant from New York, was looking for an international structure to serve clients globally while keeping operational flexibility. She heard Panama was one of the most popular offshore jurisdictions in the world. So she became curious. But as she researched, she ran into conflicting information. Some sources talked about zero territorial tax. Others discussed corporate maintenance fees. Some mentioned anonymity benefits. Others focused on banking restrictions and compliance requirements. And this is where most people get confused. Because Panama is not a loophole system. It is a structured territorial tax jurisdiction with defined rules. And understanding those rules is what determines whether your setup works smoothly or becomes complicated later. Now here's the first key insight. A Panama SRL or corporation is designed for international business use, and in many cases income generated outside of Panama is not subject to local corporate tax under territorial taxation rules. But here's the important part most people miss. That tax treatment depends on proper classification, documentation, and compliance with local regulations. It is not automatic, and it is not informal. Now Michael begins to understand something important. This is not just about forming a company. It is about entering a legal system that interacts with international banking, tax reporting, and corporate transparency standards. And once he understands that, everything becomes more structured. But let's walk through the process step by step, as if Michael is actually going through it. The first step is choosing a registered agent. And this is essential. In Panama, you cannot directly register a company on your own in most cases. You must work through a licensed Panamanian lawyer or a registered agent who handles incorporation. This agent is responsible for preparing legal documents, filing them with the public registry, and ensuring compliance with local law. Michael selects a reputable law firm that specializes in international incorporations. And immediately, the process becomes more formal. Now Sarah goes through the same step and realizes something important. The quality of your agent determines the smoothness of your entire incorporation process. Because this is not just paperwork. It is legal structuring. Now comes the next step. Company name selection. At first, Michael thinks this is simple. He chooses a business name that reflects his consulting brand and submits it for approval. But here's where the first reality check appears. In Panama, company names must be checked and approved to ensure they are not already in use and do not conflict with existing entities. And certain naming conventions must be followed depending on the structure. So the name is submitted for verification. And what happens next is predictable but important. The name is reviewed and approved after confirmation of availability. And this is where Michael learns something important. Even in offshore jurisdictions, legal identity still matters. Now the next step is where structure becomes more serious. Drafting the Articles of Incorporation. This is one of the most important documents in Panama company formation. It defines shareholders, directors, capital structure, and corporate powers. And here's where many entrepreneurs underestimate complexity. Because this document is not just a formality. It is the legal foundation of the company. Michael initially assumes it is standard boilerplate paperwork. But his lawyer explains something critical. The way your company is structured in the Articles of Incorporation determines how it is treated legally, financially, and operationally. So Michael defines a simple structure. He becomes the primary shareholder and director, with a straightforward consulting business purpose. Now let's pause here, because this is a key insight. In Panama, simplicity is powerful. Overcomplicated structures often create unnecessary banking and compliance friction. Now comes the next step, notarization. In Panama, incorporation documents must be notarized before they are filed with the public registry. This ensures legal authenticity and compliance with civil law requirements. Michael reviews and signs the documents in the presence of a notary. And this is where Sarah experiences her first realization. The process is not digital only. It is legal and formal. Now comes registration with the Public Registry of Panama. This is the official step where the company becomes legally recognized. Documents are submitted, reviewed, and recorded. And once approved, the company legally exists. And this is a major milestone. Because now Michael has a real corporate entity in Panama. But here's where expectations shift again. Incorporation is not the end of the process. It is just the beginning of operational setup. Now comes tax registration. Panama operates under a territorial tax system, meaning that in many cases only income generated within Panama is taxed locally. But here is the key insight. You must properly classify your business activity and maintain compliance documentation. Michael receives his tax identification number and registers his business activity. And this makes his company fully recognized for legal operations. Now Sarah realizes something important. Tax advantages only work when structure and documentation are correct. Now, let's move to one of the most important stages. Banking. And this is where many offshore entrepreneurs face complexity. Opening a corporate bank account in Panama requires detailed documentation, including incorporation papers, identification, proof of business activity, and sometimes reference letters. And here is the key insight most people miss. Banks in Panama are highly regulated due to international compliance standards. So they will carefully review your business model, income sources, and expected transactions. Michael prepares a clear explanation of his consulting services and international client-based IT, and that clarity helps him move forward. Sarah does the same after organizing her documentation properly, and eventually, both are approved. And suddenly, their companies are fully operational. But here's where the deeper understanding appears. Forming a Panama company is not about hiding income or avoiding structure. It is about operating within a territorial tax jurisdiction designed for international business. And that system requires responsibility and compliance. Annual fees, registered agent maintenance, and proper documentation are ongoing requirements. But once again, this is not a burden. It is a system. And systems create predictability. Now let's bring everything together. Michael started this journey thinking Panama would be a simple offshore shortcut. But what he discovered is something more structured. Panama offers a powerful corporate framework with territorial taxation benefits, but it requires proper incorporation through a registered agent, notarization, and compliance with the public registry and tax authorities. Sarah learned that success depends on clarity, not assumptions. And both of them learned something important. International company formation is not about loopholes. It is about choosing jurisdictions that match your business strategy. So here is the final insight. If you are planning to register a company in Panama, the real advantage is not just tax structure or offshore reputation. It is the ability to operate a legally recognized international company within a stable territorial tax system, but only if you approach it correctly from the beginning. Because the biggest mistake people make is assuming offshore means informal. It does not. It means structured international law. And once you understand that, everything becomes clearer, more strategic, and far more powerful. So take this with you. Structure creates protection. Clarity creates compliance. And understanding creates opportunity. And now you understand Panama company formation far better than most people who approach it without preparation. If you found this guide helpful and want more deep breakdowns of global business structures like this, make sure to subscribe for more clear and practical guides that simplify international opportunities.